My very first coaching job was the 7th grade heavyweights at Dean Morgan Junior High. So that was back in 1990, and I spent a year there and then went off to Riverton as the next stint the next year. But yeah, I learned a lot that first year. First victory was over at the old East Junior High in Casper, Wyoming. I remember that. I don't even think we had goalposts on the field.
How much is the learning curve for young coaches in those first 2 or 3 years?
Oh, I think, to be honest, I think the learning curve never really stops. Society is changing, kids are changing, everything's changing, and I think great coaches continue to learn and grow over their entire career. But until you get into it, you really don't understand, what it's all about.
When you were in Riverton, you won 3 championships. You didn't lose a game in 2 years. What are your best memories of those Riverton days?
Riverton was a lot of fun. I was kind of the young guy on the staff, and real learning and growing experience, but I had some good mentors, and it was, that community hadn't really experienced that kind of success with football. And so the way they rallied, we put lights in at the stadium during that time. They didn't even have lights, and the whole community gathered around us. The championship against Lander in Riverton, which had, at the time, I think it was a record for number of people at a championship game. It was just unbelievable to play your rivalry from 30 miles away at the home stadium. Some great battles with Star Valley during those years, and just some great friendships and relationships built from that.
So Sheridan was kind of established. They had a winning tradition. Did you have to change culture there, or how did that work to continue the success there?
Well, Sheridan has a great football tradition, but it had been some time. We got there in 2007, and they hadn't been in the, hadn't had a winning season in I think 8 or 9 years, and it took a little over a year to kind of get things headed in the right direction. But that's a great football community, and I've loved being there, and some wonderful successes. The difference between Riverton, when I was in Riverton, and in Sheridan was, when I was in Riverton, we were a big school in the 3A up until the last year I was there. And then at Sheridan, we're a smaller school in the 4A. So I got to see both sides of that and the numbers game. And that was, there was a lot of satisfaction with being a smaller school. When we were in Riverton, because we were the biggest in the 3A at the time, everybody was like, well, you should be winning. And when we were in Sheridan, it was a little different attitude. But Sheridan's a fabulous community. I love Wyoming in general. I've never left the state, and I've had great experiences, and I love being part of this fraternity.
What could you tell young coaches getting into the business what to expect from all aspects of it?
Well, first I would say that it's a great profession. Great in the fact that you can influence generations. If you do a good job and teach kids how to become good men, you will influence people that you will never meet for generation after generation, and that's well worth it. We need that right now. We need coaches. We need coaches with great character and perseverance and integrity, and it's a challenging profession. And it's getting more challenging, I think, in a lot of ways. But it's a wonderful way if you wanna be a great influence on young people. It's a great way to go.